we do this thing on the show. It's called, we announce the do-gooder every week, right? So it's the Starbright do-gooder, and that all stemmed from Corey, my friend Corey Redwine, and good friend Derek Redwine and I. Actually, which Derek and I at ICAST are going to be. Are we rolling right now? Yeah, good, because I want everyone to hear this. Derek and I at ICAST are going to be doing a collaboration painting at the CCA to raise funds for the CCA. And Papa's Pilar Rum and Starbright Solutions are funding the entire endeavor. And so it's going to be a pretty fun effort that we're going to be doing up there. Derek and Corey came to visit a few weeks ago, about a month or so ago. And we were drinking right there at that bar after we went out to dinner. We came back to the studio to hang out. We kind of came up with this idea. It's like, ICAST, we go every year and we just do the same thing every time. So we do something a little bit different this year. So
that's awesome.
To segue into that, with the do-gooder on the Starbright, every week we announce the do-gooder of the week. And it's always Corey giving us a name. Okay, we announced the do-gooder of the week, but we would really like to get some nominations of people in our local area. So maybe if you guys could help out, if you guys can think of anybody to nominate as a do-gooder. It's actually a really cool program, because if they do get nominated, they get this entire bucket full of stuff, which is about $200 worth of Starbright products. The salt off the degreaser, the boat wash, the reggae sponge, like the fuel treatment, all that, So, and if they do get nominated, a package will arrive at their door with all that stuff. So, but I'd like to start getting more people in our local area, not just like Central Florida, nominated for this stuff. So, if you guys know of anyone, or even anyone out there listening or watching the show right now, here's of anyone, please let us know. So, I am going to announce the do-gooder for this week right now, and I will bring it up in just a second. So Corey announces that the do-gooder winner of the week is Amy Catherine, and while kayak fishing, she picks up trash for the CCA Florida Star Tournament, and she's a definite winner. So congratulations to Amy Catherine from Merritt Island. So she's the do-gooder of the week. She gets that entire bucket full of stuff.
Can we cheers to that?
Yeah, cheers. We can
Cheers.
absolutely cheers to that.
All right.
Right.
Round table, square table. And I have to tell you, CCA is pretty amazing. I was able
They're amazing.
Go with Lisa Fitzgerald at a ladies tournament in Marathon, and we tagged a record 21 juvenile dolphins for her star program.
Really?
Which was a record back in May. And that day we caught 42 dolphin, released most of them. But working with her for the first time was amazing. So they do, CCA does a really amazing stuff.
Yeah, she is the first female athlete to ever get elected into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh,
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Angler, hunter.
Yeah, and I had the honor of having dinner with her last year at a Papa's Pilar's dinner at ICAST last year, and going to have dinner with her again. She's an amazing person. She does so many great things for the CCA. Yeah, absolutely. And the entire, especially that program that they do at the Redfish, the Star
And
program.
she's an avid hunter. She showed me pictures. Yeah. She was out there doing some bow hunting, and she actually participated out west with some Native Americans, and she was actually I don't know, made an Indian princess or something by a real tribe out there. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really cool story.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's
really cool lady, and she's this big.
That's so cool.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Thank you everybody for coming and joining us today on the Connected by Water podcast, powered by Joey Cardi, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and fueled by our very good friends at Papa's Pilar Rum, who remind us never to be a spectator. Let's cheers to that again. Look at Carolyn.
Oh
Carolyn rushed for her glass.
Yeah, Nicole, where's your water?
Right?
There you go.
So, all right. In the room today, in the gallery, we have the ladies of the Lighthouse Point Saltwater Sportsman Association, right? They're otherwise known as the Lighthouse Point Fishing Club, right? So, yay. Thank you very much for coming in and joining us.
The first ones.
Right, first ones, right? So we got Nicole Zapetis behind the bar, joining Carlene, who is always there at the bar, the world's favorite bartender. Right? Jackie Sabins, Carolyn Stash, Lindsey Tenberg. So you're all here.
We're all here.
Right? And we wanted to celebrate you guys because I think it's really, really cool. I mean, that was like one of the reasons we wanted to bring you in, really, in my mind. It's like, okay, that's kind of what started the conversation, because the Lighthouse Point Fishing Club has been a long, storied club in the area, and it's always been kind of like a men's club. Right?
I mean,
And not kind of gets it.
definitely.
I know. I'm
Definitely.
just saying,
Like,
I'm just
women were
trying
not
to ease
allowed.
into
There
this
is no
here.
kind of.
Yeah.
It's always been a men's club.
It's like their escape
No,
from
it's kind
women
of
now.
Yes.
Now we're penetrating.
But now it's not. It's everybody's club. So, and you guys are the first ones
Right.
in the club. You guys broke through whatever stupid rule that was. So, tell me from your guys' perspective how it's been like being members of the club.
Oh,
Simple as that.
who wants to go first?
Whoever wants
I
to
guess
go
that's
first.
me. It's so much fun,
Yeah?
honestly. Like, I've never been a part of such like a nice group that is like so professional at fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually you go with your friends or like you go with a guy or whatever, and they get so angry if you do something wrong. Or I've been spearfishing for years, and I can still go on one of my guy friends' boats, and they get so angry if I like do something wrong or if I'm not, doing something right or whatever. It's fine. But you can go on anybody's boat, meet them for the first time in these hat tournaments that we have. And they're like, oh, I'll show you how to do this. You don't know how to do this? It's fine. Like, you mess something up, they're like, nah, it's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, when you get a fish on, tension's a little high, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it, gets cut off or somebody doesn't gaff it or whatever, they're like, okay, let's go to the next one. No big deal. And they do it all the time. And it's, it's kind of like everyone's hobby is this group, and everyone's so passionate about it too. Like, you'll see people every month we have the meetings, and even I'm on the board. So in the board meetings, it's like, we all want this. It's like a part-time job. But it's not really a job. It's like a part-time hobby. Like, we all love it, especially the guys on the board. It's like I was just talking to Ryan before we got on here about, everything that we're going to talk about on Wednesday's meeting. And we're all so into it that we're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we talk about it almost every single day. We have our little WhatsApp group, and we're like, hey, I got this fish, or like, hey, this is what I want to present at the meeting, or whatever. It's so much fun. I love this group.
Yeah. Well, that's the coolest thing about it too, is like the WhatsApp group, like there's always something going on. There's conversation every single day with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if it's not a club sponsored event, it's, hey, I was offshore on Sunday and the dolphin are in, 500 to 700 feet of water if anybody's going out. Or it's, hey, does anybody want to go out with me, tomorrow, like just for the evening tuna bite, like, which is just super cool to have that involvement and that friendliness and openness,
Yeah,
And,
it's a really good group of guys. I mean,
It is.
I kind of noticed that too. I mean, I've been a member since 2019, so
Mhm.
not forever, but long enough to get to know the guys in the group, and I can say that it really is a great crop of people.
Yeah.
That are involved in this club.
Well, I'm love the club for so many reasons, because I'm not a spear fisherman, right? So it gives me the opportunity to try something new. They might have a fishing trip. They might have a spear fishing trip.
We have a
they
spear
might
fishing
have
trip coming up in
do.
July.
in
yeah.
the Bahamas, and then
Mhm.
there might be a diving trip. It might be jumping a plane and going to Mexico, Bahamas, Andros. It might just be let's get together at over at Papa's for a snack or something like that. So it's really, and they embrace the significant others, which is a really cool thing, because I think the membership is about 100 club members.
Mhm.
So they cap it so that they can really satisfy everybody's need. Everybody gets to know everybody. Everyone has everyone's phone numbers. Hat tournament, for those that don't know, usually you get on a boat, you have a captain and a mate, and you literally pick names out of a hat. So you don't really know who you're fishing with that day, which really makes it fun, because it could be anybody.
And you get to know everybody because you're on the boat for multiple hours or all day. So
Right.
it's like you leave with extra friends. That's who could go wrong with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anything you want to add over there?
Nicole, Nicole has a very, very specific relationship to the club, right?
I gotta go closer. Pull you in closer. I don't bite. So for me, I feel like I have an advantage over some of the other girls that are here, because I've been a part of the club since we've moved to Pompano, just
Right.
because Trey has been a part of that club since we've moved to Pompano. So I've always gotten to see like the tail end of the club, like getting to go on a trip or seeing him being so involved with the club. So for me, I think that when I got to join, it was a highlight for me, because I already knew a lot of the people that were there, but now I can be in a social setting with them that doesn't involve me selling them a rod and a reel at Big Dog Tackle. It's more of
Right.
just like getting to talk about, everybody's passion is fishing. And for me, I felt like I get stuck at the store and I just talk about fishing all day long, about what you need to get out on the water. But I wanted to have a social setting where I can just talk freely about fishing. So I felt like for the club, for me, it was getting myself out there and out of the store, out of Big Dog, just talking about fishing and being more involved in, with a fun group of guys and girls.
Mhm.
So, yeah. and getting to go on these trips. I mean, for me, the trips is
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, the trips
Yeah.
are fun.
yeah, like we're going to Mag Bay in October, November. So I mean, those trips, that not everybody gets to go on a trip.
That's going to
like
be an
that.
incredible trip.
Yeah, I'm like super excited. I was supposed to go last year, and things didn't align. But I'm like, okay, I'm not backing out this year. Like I have to go. Like tickets booked.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we just went to Ocean Reef. I think it wasn't like an official trip, but the guys just went to the Panhandle and did like a red snapper trip too.
Mhm.
I mean, they go all over. It is so
well,
cool.
they did Lucaya in May too. and,
Right.
yeah, did a big tuna trip. And
Mhm.
Well,
I-
a lot of them are lucky enough that they don't have to work full time like us gals do. So there's a lot of free time that they can just jump a flight or
Work from
jump in a
home,
boat.
you know?
So
As long
we,
as we got Wi-Fi, it's fine.
yeah, hotspots and
But-
Wi-Fi's, and
right.
no one needs to know that we're not actually in our office.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a passion of all of us, which is why we fought so hard to get into this club. And and by the way, all of the club members have embraced us.
Mhm.
They want to fish with us. Initially, they thought we were going to help with some social events and organizing some banquets, and we said no, that's not why we're here.
Right.
So look another way.
Right. Exactly.
So thanks, Maurice,
Yeah.
for
And
being the social director.
I don't know about you guys, but I had been asking one of my Chris Jones for a year to invite me into the group
Mhm.
too. So like March of this year is finally when he actually did it.
So,
So
I
I've been trying to
I
get
want to
in.
ask that, like, what was that initially like when what posed the first question? How was it received? I mean, take me
I
through that process.
Nicole probably
so
knows. Yeah.
for what I know, and like don't hold me to it, but it has been a men's only club for a long time. And finally, when the board decided to open this up to girls, Mike had came up to me. He's like, "You need to join this club," and I was like, "Oh, okay." Are they letting girls in there? Like I had no idea. And he's like, "No, you have to join." And then he's like, "Lindsey will join if you join." And I was
Lindsey
like,
will do it.
So
I
did
was
that just like a line all in like March?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So then I
that's
was
cool.
like, so I told Trey, I was like, "Listen, Mike's pushing pressure on me to join this club, and I want to do it." And he was like, "Yeah, but I'm a member, we don't need to both be in there." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I think I want to be in there. I want to have like myself be out there and separate from the store a little bit." And so then that meeting, Lindsey was there, and then I saw Jackie, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, did this all was like just like a super coincidence? And then I heard all the guys, why are there girls here?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, wait, they had no idea. So I
Mhm.
guess the board had just kind of like announced like a soft announcement, and then we showed up to the meeting, and then that's it.
awesome.
The next
the
meeting
stars
we were there.
aligned. It was
Yeah.
meant to be.
Yeah. So with the club, I mean, you have to fill out an application, and you have to have two members kind of put your that they're referencing you to join the club. So, I mean, I don't know. It was just such a big coincidence that we all kind of did it at the same time.
Yeah, when I first heard, Mark Rapetsky told me, and he was just talking because I hadn't been to a meeting in a while, and we get so busy here at the studio, and it was COVID, and then we just got the business just ramped up, and I just kind of fell off from going to the meetings for a while. And he's like, "You gotta come back. Let's go. Come on, come back to me. Come back to meeting." It's like, "Yeah, we got the girls there now." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
We got
And
the
you just kind of
girls
slip
there.
that in, like, "What are you talking about? You got the girls there
What,
now,
yeah, what
right?"
does that
The
mean?
girls.
Yeah,
What's that
exactly.
little
That's
shimmy you
that's
got
what he
going
did.
on,
He's like, "You
too?
got the girls
What does
there
that
now."
mean?
And I was like, "What does that mean? What do you mean you got the girls there now?" He goes like, "Oh yeah, we're letting girls in the club now." And my verbatim out of my mouth, I said, "Mark, that's cool as shit, really?"
Yeah.
And I was excited because to me, the club. Listen, I love all the guys in the club, I really do, but it
really
needed
love
some youth, it needed some energy. You know what I mean? And I thought that was great. And when you
we are
dragged
youth
me
and
to the
energy.
last meeting, like
Yeah.
she's like, you got to come, because for those that don't know in the audience, whatever, Jackie's like 2 doors down here from
Literally.
me. Yeah,
Not
literally,
even.
right? So she's like, you got to come. She's always in here all the time. She's like, got to come to the next meeting. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come. And I wasn't at the last
You didn't
meeting.
show up.
So she calls me and she's like, where are you? Right? She's like, you're coming right now. And then, so
I literally was
yeah.
like, I'll get you a plate
Yeah,
of food if
right.
you have to be late. And I went and got him a plate of food, put it in a little spot.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, here's your food. You have to show up now.
Right.
Now I look
So I
stupid.
showed up. So I come to the club.
He showed up. It was good.
But I got to tell you, like, I instantly noticed the vibe was completely different. and you guys had a lot to do with that. And there is a lot of newer members there, guys that I haven't seen, new faces, but I was also pretty stoked about how like the club's still the club though. Those guys are still awesome. They open their arms and welcomed me back and like the whole thing like that, and it made me feel really good.
You're a
But
celebrity. You don't
no,
realize.
stop it.
You literally are.
Stop.
We made you a part of the presentation without.
Yeah, all right.
You didn't know that you were going to be a part of that. I was
I
like,
didn't
hey,
know that.
here's what
Yeah.
we're launching. This
I
I
didn't know.
can't.
I have to tell
divulge
you
what
what was really funny. My first meeting that I went to be announced into the club, it was great because they have this beautiful buffet, all this amazing food, and the guys didn't know what to do. So when everyone went for the food, they're like, okay, ladies first. So we got first dibs on the plates. But they only did that one time.
They're like, now we know you. We're
like,
you're
all right,
one of the
food's
guys
up.
now.
You just got to get in line. But that was really funny. We had manners for like one meeting, and then they're like, nah, all right, you got to wait in line now.
They still have manners. They just don't let us eat first. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Well, listen, I know you guys are dreading these questions.
Let's
Can
do
we
it.
get refills
this
though
blank
before we
white
answer
paper.
these? Are we allowed
You
to get
can.
refills?
Yeah,
right.
You want refill? You want a new drink?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
We're fishermen.
it's after 5.
Yeah.
It's
All
okay.
right, it's after 5 o'clock.
That's
Thanks,
still-
Carlene.
You're the
Hold on.
best.
Don't dunk your mic.
Do you want me to chug that before we? Are we all doing that? Oh. Okay.
You guys, we can line up shots if you want to do shots.
I think we should.
No shots for Lindsay. No.
That was a no.
All right, Carolyn, I'm down if you're down.
You guys really
My
pounding
office
the
is
rum?
right here.
We're pounding the rum because we like
If
Pilar
you
rum.
need a
So
ride home,
yeah,
I can set that up.
I'd say a drink and a shot. Let's do it. Let's make this party happen.
We can leave our cars here because my office is right there. So,
You guys are killing me.
Just look for the pink Bronco.
what do we just take it out of the?
Oh.
God.
All right.
Like a little bit of tuna blood. Or wait.
No, let's just do it.
You really? What are we doing? You doing shots here?
No, we're just gonna take
We
a little
can-
hit, a little.
Oh, in there? In our cups? I mean. Okay. Gosh. All right.
Would you take the chain off the cap there? All right.
Okay.
Sorry. So what's going on? Oh, she's shaking it right out of
Do it. Let's do it.
That's what we're doing.
Let's
Okay,
do
okay.
it.
That's what we're doing.
the.
Yeah, we're totally doing it. You're gonna do it
hold
now.
on a second. Hold on.
Wait. Oh yeah.
You got to do it again. Sorry.
Oh, great.
Sorry.
This
Well, I
is
gotta get
live.
to
The
somebody.
branding. I'm not good at the branding.
All right,
Oh,
ready?
yeah.
All right, here she goes.
Okay.
Watch
Can you
your
call
mic.
my ride too?
If we're gonna do this, let's do this right. All right.
There you go.
Let's do it.
All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I know
Look at
Lindsay would
Lindsay.
say. Lindsay said yes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that is some smooth
Wow.
rum.
Delicious.
So when is this gonna post? So Lindsay
Friday.
might have to call in. Okay, call in sick tomorrow, girl.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Oh, hold on, just in case.
Oh, oh God. Okay.
I got this all on video. All right, so for those of you listening at home,
Lindsay's in.
so for those of you listening, basically shots of rum just went around the table, actually straight from the bottle. So, congratulations.
And Nicole is the good
right.
one of the group. She's the responsible party. You might have to drive us all home. So.
No problem.
I'm impressed.
Let's
are
hit
we-
those questions. We're ready.
All right,
Hold on,
you
is
ready?
this
to-
just
you ready to
how?
hit the-
Is this just how I'm doing it right now? Is this
Yeah.
okay?
What? No, you want to? You can need a drink. All
I'll
right.
take like
You need ice?
a bev.
All right. All right. So, listen, we got our Papa's Pilar strange
How did you
questions
get
here.
these questions? By the
We
way,
asked people. So,
Okay.
would you like to submit a question? There's
Let's do it.
certain people that we
Okay.
wanted to speak with, and we went around and we took
Okay.
a little bit of a poll and said who wants to ask
Well,
questions.
I'm
So, our first question is from Lorelei Bennett, my super assistant.
Oh yes.
glad-
Okay.
She is
Right.
amazing.
My super assistant. She really is amazing. Do you realize? You guys know her track record and her resume and everything like
Where
that.
is she?
But
Yeah,
she
where did she
saved someone's
disappear?
life last night. too.
What?
Whoa.
She did. She was
I'm
at
not surprised, but
she was at Roundup with her friend, and someone started having a seizure, and she secured the situation, called 911, made sure the girl. Yeah,
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
she is
Good
a
stuff.
literal superstar. That
Yep.
girl.
absolutely, 100%.
I have a little bit of mixer, just a little bit. I'm good.
Do you have Diet Coke? I hate that I just asked that, but what? Okay,
I'm good.
great. Okay. Yes, please.
All right, so
That's
Lorelei asks a question of Carolyn.
Oh.
Yep.
No pressure.
Atlas Tracks is such a unique company. Have you ever had to deal with an emergency situation where you've had to track a missing or a lost boat?
Yes. As a matter of fact, last week we had
Really?
someone run out of gas off the west coast of Florida, 40 miles off the coast, with a pending thunderstorm, a paid customer. Luckily, they had 3 trackers on board. They were able to go rendezvous and bring them fuel so they can come back in off of Cedar Key. And that was literally last week. And by the time they got done with that, it was 15.5 hours of boat time and 300 miles to get these people back safe.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we do those kind of emergencies all the time.
What's the protocol for that?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
All the time.
Yeah.
I've got people whose EPIRBs fall out of the cradle. They get wet. The Coast Guard calls the family. The family ends up calling me. And I could show them with the maps that they're zigging and zagging or trolling speed or how many miles offshore. We can match those numbers with the Coast Guard so that they can decide if they want to go up and take a peek around. And that's happened multiple times as well. So,
Yeah, that's great.
absolutely finding people.
Explain for context and benefit of the show and everything with the Atlas tracks, what it is in like the elevator speech on it and,
Sure.
and your role there.
So it's an itty bitty little thing like this.
Mhm.
It can go anywhere from boating. We have thousands on snow groomers. If someone takes this and turns it on, it'll show by satellite where they move every 10 minutes where they are in a map fashion. So it can be, I've got guys that go hunting, boating, aviation, altitude, jet skis, ATVs, anything. And it's literally, you just take it with you.
And this is your company and it's been around for how long?
I started the company in 2012. It's mandatory for center consoles to have trackers here in Florida because of theft. But the safety, great question, that happens all the time. Calls
Yeah.
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, Lorelai got excited. She goes, I have a question for Carolyn. So-
They're great.
Yep.
They have a tracker on their boat. They always know where they are. And it's kind of fun. Like this weekend was a big tournament, right? Big dog,
Yep.
fat cat. So
Yep.
I just kind of poke around on my master maps to see who's around and where. And it's funny to see a grouping of certain boats in certain areas that end up getting really big wahoos.
You
and
ever get
kingfish.
any calls like say, hey, where's so-and-so at today?
You know what I do sometimes,
Yeah?
and there's some other good friends,
Yeah.
Mr. Poveromo, that's got a relationship with us with these products too,
Yep.
and he's a really good friend. But yeah, great question. Tons and tons of safety. I just crossed help with the crossing for a cure yesterday.
Oh, you did?
80
Very cool.
trackers on all the
Yeah.
support boats, and I was at the beach yesterday at the command center. Watching, make sure the last boats came in. There was weather, so I had to pull the paddlers for a while, and then I was able to help them say, okay, the last boat's got 2 miles to go at 5 o'clock, and
Right.
that's the last one in. So yeah, I was up in the
That
cloud.
was for cystic fibrosis, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Piper and
For
Travis.
Piper's
Suit, right?
Angels. And our friend Barney did that crossing on his paddleboard. I know he trained for months before.
It is
Barney Heath.
amazing. When they
Yeah.
were showing up either on paddle boards or the ocean rescue boats,
Yep.
there were some of the pontoon boats like you see in Hawaii. There were guys on little bicycles with the big paddle in the front. It was pretty amazing.
Yes.
And when they land on the beach, after paddling 12 to 16 hours, they give you a big hammer and you have to run up the beach and hit this gong
Ugh.
like Thor. And it was pretty amazing to go. If anyone wants to go next year, it's a cool event to go on the beach for.
Yeah, that's cool. And that was originally for Piper, which is the daughter of our friend Travis Suit, right? So, yeah,
Amazing family.
absolutely.
Yep, and he put together, he's got people, 400 to 450 people went over to Bimini last Thursday and all started back in the middle of the night, and I was up at like midnight when I could watch my tracker start heading west. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So-
Next question up is for Lindsay, and it's from our good friend Art Sapp.
Oh.
And he says, you now run the ladies' fish off, but as an angler or coordinator for the tournament, what has been your best memory during the event?
Ooh, interesting. I don't know. There's been so many good memories. Just in general, we've all been involved in tournaments, run them, fished them, and there's so much work that goes into it,
Sure.
especially from the back end and, organizing the kickoff party and the weigh-in and all that stuff. Just in general, the best part is seeing lady anglers for me on the dock, and they're so excited.
Yeah.
And, these girls have been out there for 8, 9, 10 hours fishing, always fishing in the rain, fishing in waves, and they have just, brought their A game, crushed it. They're stinky and slimy, and they're just so excited. And, it's
We had
just,
some weather this year too.
yep, every
That's
year.
nice.
First weekend in June, it's just,
A little,
Yeah.
a little tipsy.
yeah. So I think in general, I don't know if there's a best moment. Just, I don't know. It's all good.
No, that's good.
Oh,
And honestly, when you asked that question, I was waiting for Art to be like, Can we use 12-foot gaffs?
Well, you know what?
But you can now. We have changed the rules.
Yep.
Yeah.
Art.
Good thing it's not live because Art would be calling in right now.
Right.
All right. So
I'm like, he's going to ask me about the gaffs again.
All right. Next question is for Nicole
Ooh.
from our good friend Mark Rapetsky. And he wants to know, how do you balance being a successful business owner and making time to still go out and enjoy fishing?
oh, good one.
I have not done that yet.
Great question.
So I'm getting there. Like, my goal was 2023, and you have to understand, like, new business owner, first year learning the business, second year COVID, you know. So there's so much stuff that like happened when we first opened. So for me to say like, how do I balance it? I'm not there yet. You know, this is the first year that I have 2 key holders that I just promoted last month. I have 1 assistant store manager. So now I actually have like people opening and closing the store. It's still my baby. I still can't like not be there from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. But it's a big step in the right direction. Going to Mag Bay for a week is going to be like I've never left for that long, you know, like that's like giving me anxiety already just talking about it. But luckily I have support that can help me with the store as well. But I'm not there yet. I mean, Trey and I used to fish together all the time. And in order for me to fish, he has to be at the store, or for him to fish, I have to be at the store. So it would be nice for us to get there again prior to going back to like before Big Dog. But I haven't conquered it yet, but I feel like I'm like one step closer. Like I'm here and I'm not at the store right now. So like
No, that's great.
So-
I mean, I can relate to you on that one. Being the business owner and trying to get out fishing, it's not as easy as it sounds.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And and especially when you're a business owner, it's truly your baby, and it's just really hard for you to let go. And you know, we just hit 5 years, you know. So I mean, that's a milestone for us, and you know, we're still growing so much. So I feel like, you know, it hinders us just a little bit because we're going through growing pains, but it's also that we need to manage it a little bit better. So I could go out and fish, but I mean, I think that's one of the main reasons why I joined the club.
It's on Tuesdays, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're doing the right thing though. I mean, you're there for the business, and it'll all come out.
Yeah. And you guys have some really good events too. Like I always love to go when you have mimosas while I'm shopping.
Yeah.
It's like 10 times more than I normally would. You know, they have like the parking lot sales, or they put everything out, and then they're like, "Oh, here's beer and mimosas." Like, okay.
So the coolest thing ever was there was a ladies fish off knot tying seminar at Big Dog Tackle, and Nicole was demonstrating the bimini twist, which I still want to learn without people looking at me because I was getting a little worked up. She's like, "You're gonna try it?" I'm like, "No, I can't." So I went back to the bar. I'm like, "Okay, maybe I can." I'm like, "No, not yet." Back to the bar. So next time I want to do that. But I'll tell you, we had a turnout of so many ladies, and you know, a couple of the guys heard that there was a party. So then it was like 3 guys and like 30 women. So, but it was awesome events, and you always open up your store like it's our home. I'm sorry, it is our home.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate that.
Oh, thanks.
Just in general, I've never I come in for tackle every time I go fishing and do anything from my boat that I can get there. I go, and I leave with like 3 pairs of diving pants and a shirt, and you know, a really cute bag. So thank you for that.
Suit, you know, they have everything. I mean, it's hard to find a good tackle shop that has women's stuff too, and you guys have a great variety of women's, like all the brands and everything that we could ever want, like a whole section devoted to women, which go into any other tackle store and you're like, okay, I get like 3 shirts to choose from. Cool.
Yeah.
Men's extra small.
Right.
Nicole,
Men's extra small.
Nicole, you have done an outstanding job with that store. There's no doubt about it.
And it's in a great location too.
Seriously. Very, very proud to see where it's at.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you saw it. You were there on our 1-year anniversary, and like to see photos of like you painting and doing that, and the store was so empty. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, how did we survive? Like the store was empty.
That was
no
the grand
inventory.
opening. That was the grand opening.
Yeah, that was our grand opening. Oh, not our 1 year. It was our grand opening.
The grand opening.
And I was like, oh my god, the store is empty. And then now I look at it, I'm like, okay, where am I going to squeeze this fixture today? You know, so.
Yeah,
but I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
All the stuff you're stressed about with not going fishing or whatever, but your hard work's paying off.
Thank you.
So, yeah, excellent job. This next question is from me to you.
Oh,
Jackie.
Okay.
How does it feel to be famous on the cover of the Lighthouse Point magazine?
How does it feel? It feels really good.
Yeah,
It
good.
feels great.
Yeah?
Honestly. And it was representing our group
Sure.
and the women in this group. And I was really only on it because John Piotrowski writes that article,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, okay, tell me, give me some information about the women in the group. Give me some photos of them. And I sent him like photos of you guys. Sorry, I just like took him from Facebook and stuff. And then I sent him like a ton of, he's like, send me some of your favorite photos of yourself, like fishing and stuff. So I sent him a ton. And then they choose whatever photos they get from different articles and they put it on the cover. So it's so funny because I also called them. I didn't even know I was going to be on it until I saw it. And my mom's like, I want one. So I called them. And I'm like, hey, where can I get these? Because I'm on the cover and my mom wants a couple copies. So the guy like laughed at me, but I was like,
That's cool.
it's pretty cool.
It was a great looking
It's
cover.
pretty cool. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. They did a good job, and it was a great article on you guys too.
Oh, amazing
Yeah,
article.
it's good.
Because the coolest thing about us is all of us is we all work full time.
Mm-hmm.
So we do our charity stuff. We volunteerism, the fishing club, whatever we do, Flight Center, Billfish Foundation. We do it because we love it. So, so we put in, all of us ladies and other ladies put in some serious long hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we were featured in the Lighthouse Point magazine, also in the Deerfield Beach magazine. I don't know if you guys knew that too. Our article was in that also.
Oh no, I didn't know it was in that.
And
Yeah.
something in the Pelican
Yeah.
for the ladies fish off.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
Chiefy did a
did.
a little spot in the Pelican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually went on his boat like the week prior. I think he writes like a weekly like article or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I shot this huge mutton, and it was the first time I ever dove
Oh.
with him. So he was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" I earned my hat for his boat, which is a
Mhm.
whole thing, which is super cool. Hey, Chiefy, by the way. And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna write an article about you guys." I was like, "Awesome, great,
Cool stuff.
very cool."
Yeah, he's
Loved it.
Chiefy's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's been on the show like 3 times.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
yeah,
he's very supportive. He's
Yep,
he's
absolutely.
fantastic, great
Very
diver,
much.
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. If I can get on Chiefy's good side, you'll never regret it. That's for sure. All right,
Yeah.
next question is, I think now we get to the question. Let's see, this one's for everybody. And Jonah Bennett wants to know, how did you all first get into, well, let me preface this by saying, you guys are all professionals within the industry, right? You guys are all doing something meaningful to the fishing and the boating industry with the businesses that you guys have and do, right?
Mhm.
So he wants to know, how did you all first get into the fishing or boating industry? Like, how'd that happen? Like,
Who's up?
I'll
go?
go
Wherever.
first.
yeah,
COVID actually.
okay.
I'm from Annapolis. I grew up on boats, more of like doing water sports than fishing or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when COVID hit, as you all know, we couldn't really go anywhere except for on your boat. So I was boating every single day. Actually, TJ Vaughn's is one of my good friends, and he kind of was out of a job because he worked for Bolo, and they kind of shut down a little bit because no one could be on a boat collectively for a business or whatever. You could just take private boats out. And he went fishing with us almost every day for a while. Actually, like the first or second time that I had been out learning how to troll and tie knots and put everything together with like bait strips and all that stuff, we caught 3 wahoo.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, if it's this easy, then why don't we
If
do
it's
it
this
every
easy.
day?
If it's this
And then,
easy.
yeah,
Yeah,
so like,
totally.
and I can work from my phone. So I was like, I mean, I could work while doing this. And then trolling, you just kind of set and forget it. And then I just had my phone. So taking calls, like
Mm-hmm.
hold it on here, like you have your earbuds and you're just reeling in a fish, like no big deal. So that was like super ideal. And then we went, like almost every single day. It was kind of crazy. We actually would go Monday through Friday and then not go on the weekends because it would be so crowded on the weekends. But it was pretty cool. That's how I got into it. And then diving, I've always dove. I think ever since I moved down here in like 2009, I got into spearfishing a couple of years later. But yeah, and then I got more into like yacht sales and everything after COVID because yacht sales took off when COVID hit.
Sure did.
So it was great. It was a perfect time to fish and work from the boat. And I would even, call my friends that live in Maryland and be like, hey, what are you guys doing right now? I'm at the sandbar working. on my boat. Oh, everything's closing in Maryland? Oh, cool. How's that? So
Cool
that's
stuff.
how I got into it. But
Nice.
I was lucky. I grew up in Connecticut in a little fishing village where you could tie boys to trees and put the leaves in their gym bags. So
tie
that's
boys
what
to trees. I'm sorry, what?
B-O-Y, not B-O-U-Y, right?
That's a whole
Oh
different
no,
category.
that was a great
Fishing.
That was no,
Tie
so
boys
so
to trees.
when I grew up in Connecticut, I was doing those little crab traps, and I was treble hooking bunkers. I was filleting itty bitty little blues this big to like cook something in a pan that was like that. My dad had an old wood 32 lures that we used to take across from Connecticut to Long Island and fish the race for stripers, blues, and crazy stuff like that. I mean, that boat was probably like Gilligan's Island boat if we look at a picture of it now. So yeah, and then I moved down here in 95, and I was put on Oahu March 29th. I can remember the date. I was stand up all wire line. It kicked my ass. Sorry for the swearing. For 4 days, I was sore. And I got the bug then. Because I'm like, if you can catch something that swims that fast and wants to chew your leg off, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
So,
The Wahoo get you.
yeah. So,
Wahoo will get you.
They will get
Yeah.
you.
So I started up in Connecticut as a young little lad.
Lassie.
As my dad brought me up as a young boy.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's how I started.
That's cool.
That's funny. Well, I was born and raised here in Lighthouse Point, so kind of spoiled, and you have to feel like you have to love it.
Right.
Yeah, can't get away from the water.
It's the DNA of the town. It's like we always talk about that. Like this whole Pompano, Lighthouse Point area. It's kind of like the cradle of modern day fishing, for sure. And every time we have anyone on the show, of all these guys from all over the world come on, and we ask them that question, and they're like, "Yeah, no, for sure. Like it's like a town like no other." And you can go anywhere in the world and to the best fishing spots on the planet, you're probably going to find someone from Pompano or Lighthouse Point there. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's in the blood.
It's so crazy. Just
Back to you, Nicole.
So for me, actually, I grew up in Miami. So something that not a lot of people know is my grandfather actually used to build tugboats on North Miami River Drive.
Cool.
And some of them are still in commission to this day. So that's kind of something that, is exciting and that you can see. But they had a houseboat. So I just remember as a kid, like running down to the ramp, feeding manatees with a hose. And so I just felt like that was my life. Like I loved being on that river. I loved going out on the boat with him. Like I just loved being on the water. And then as I got older, it was the beach. Like we were always out on the beach, and it was just like, that was the thing. And then I met Trey, and he fished so much, and he would take me with him. And I'm like, okay, well, this is new to me, and this is 16 years ago. And I loved it. Like I just loved offshore fishing. We bought a little boat. We were always out on the water. And so I just felt like it was just like that circle. Like my grandfather just introduced me to this kind of world of, it's in our blood, this water. He's building tugboats, and that's like just in my blood. And now I own a fishing store, and it's just like this whole big circle of, things that are in common and connected by water. So
That's it.
Right.
But yeah, so that's, I think it was just my childhood, and then meeting Trey and just being more active out on the water.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Jonah Bennett. So, fellow Lighthouse Point Sportsman Association.
Saltwater Sportsman
Association.
LHPSSA.
Listen, the rum's kicking in.
There you go.
It's funny you said that, because I was like thinking of the acronym as I'm saying it, like, making sure I'm hitting all the letters. Like, right, saltwater.
Yeah. People that ask me, they're like LHPSQZY.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
No.
Lighthouse Point Saltwater Sportsman Association. Hello.
Steve Fishman.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Ask Carolyn.
Oh, why am I everywhere?
Yes.
Because you are everywhere.
I said, how are you always everywhere? It seems you are always helping at all the events. That's what he asked.
Literally.
How did you know this?
Fantastic.
He's like, you are everywhere.
Right.
You can't show up in a bright pink tank top and not expect to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, so for
it's the Pink Ladies fishing team.
Yes,
tank
okay.
top.
So
Talk
so
about
for
that too.
those listeners and people watching this might not know, I'm a breast cancer survivor. So I started the Pink Ladies fishing team, Pink Ladies Breast Cancer Foundation. Before that, I always was everywhere, and I still am. So I help with cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, ladies fish off, Billfish Foundation, wherever they need me, I go. So it's funny because when I see him in any of these captain's parties or I see him at an event, he's like, "You are everywhere." So the crossing people, the wonderful folks, Travis and Piper, they call me the guardian angel. They call me the crossing guard. They call me all kinds of things.
The crossing guard, I like that.
So I am officially the crossing guard for 10 years with them, 10 years anniversary. So Steve, thank you. I will continue to be everywhere.
You know, Steve's kind of everywhere too, though, to be fair.
He
always
is
see
everywhere.
Steve.
He's volunteering all of his time, and he's everywhere as well. Whether it's the golf tournament for muscular dystrophy, FFMD, and plus the fact I like a free meal here and there. so let's just.
How do you balance it all, though?
I'm in it for the food.
How do you
I'm in
do
it for the
all?
food and the alcohol.
Because obviously you have full-time business.
Full-time
and then you have all
business,
these groups that you're
and
part
a
of.
foundation and the ladies fish off.
And you fish.
And I fish. You know, I just go until I drop. And when I drop, like I almost fell out of the office chair last night or the night following the crossing. I woke up like in the dog bed. That was on the floor. Literally. Because I tumbled out of my recliner chair at like 1:20 in the morning. And I woke up in the cold floor and like, wait, I don't think I was out drinking, but I'm still on the floor. How's that happen? But, it is what it is. You just have to balance your time and find a couple hours here, an hour here, and just help anywhere you can because it all comes back to you, karma. At some point, someone's going to turn around and help you on something. So,
no, that's awesome.
I agree.
mean, it really is good stuff. I mean, the world needs more of you.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
All of us, all of us ladies are amazing. But thank you, Steve.
Actually, and speaking of Steve too, like I've gone on record for saying this before, and I'm going to say it again. Steve Fishman is absolutely the nicest guy I've ever met in my entire life. He really is he's such a good dude. He's
amazing.
Yeah. And his wife Dorothy, she's awesome too.
Yep. They volunteer all the time. I think all of us do.
Great,
we all volunteer.
Yeah. That's what keeps it going. It really is. The whole community aspect of what we do. That's really what keeps it going. Because if it's not for that, if everyone's only in it for themselves, then it stops. Tell you that's not sustainable at all. So, all right, the next question is for everybody. It comes from my daughter, Sienna Friel.
Pink.
She says, "Thanks for being someone that girls my age can look up to."
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
What is the first fish that made you realize that you would always love fishing?
Oh, that's easy.
I did mine
Wahoo.
already.
That's the wahoo.
For-
I think
yeah.
we already kind of answered that.
Literally,
one, right?
it was like, so I speared a wahoo
Mm-hmm.
and rod and reel caught one like trolling within like 2 weeks of each other. So it was like
Double trouble.
all right. I mean, I was
Yeah.
already addicted to spearfishing, but now I'm going to be addicted to fishing. Like, how much money do I have to make to be able to afford all of these things
Yep.
and pay for it? It's the wahoo for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I mean, literally just sushi as you're filleting this, like
Mhm.
that and
Yeah.
tuna. Tuna are a little bit easier to catch though, because a wahoo will cut everything off, and then your heart breaks, and you're like, yeah, I had this 50-pound wahoo, and it just came off at the boat.
Are
Just
girls
watch 'em
allowed to
go.
cry if you lose a
Yeah.
fish like that?
No, I mean,
Oh,
I've never
no.
cried
Oh.
for a fish.
I've
Just
cried
like,
for
let's
a
go
fish.
back out there.
Yeah.
Let's
Do it
go.
again, do it again.
We're not done yet.
I've cried for a fish.
The wahoo for me, for sure.
Linz.
Yeah. I'm with you on the wahoo. There's something
Mhm.
about sushi on the boat that's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
there's nothing better. But I fell in love with sail fishing. Like in my early
Oh,
20s, I was
okay.
lucky enough
Good
to
one.
Those are
be
those
out with
are
my
hard to
brother and
catch,
friends,
and-
and yeah, like just go out on a Friday for the evening bite at 5 o'clock and just
Yeah.
you gotta have
catch
patience.
and release 3 to 4 of
Gotta
them
have
and a
the patience.
sunset and like a cocktail.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing better.
That
and you're
sounds so
just right out
romantic,
front.
Lindsay. That
Right.
sounds
It's
so romantic.
Do you ladies want to go with us?
Yeah, right.
It's so romantic.
She doesn't like long walks on the beach.
Exactly
She
what I
likes
was gonna say. I don't want the long walk on the beach. I want the bite out front.
yeah,
You know,
right.
with the sunset and the cocktail.
I want the sailfish bite out front.
You're not wrong.
Lots of sunsets with a
It's awesome.
Papa's Pilar rum
Yep.
Diet
I
Coke.
see a new shirt in your future.
Right.
She doesn't like long walks on the beach.
I like it.
No.
You know
Short
what?
run
I
on
do
the
have a
rod.
shirt. I do have a shirt that says "I fish on the first date." So
Ooh,
yeah,
interesting.
Nicole,
that's
your
nice.
favorite fish.
So for me, it's actually sailfish as well. I love kite fishing. Like that's
Yeah.
like my favorite
Yeah.
type of fishing. I love seeing my bait going with the current, and then all of a sudden it darts opposite way, and there's just either a sail or a king or just something jumping, but the sail, just seeing it wrap around, it's just like one of those like exciting things. I fish on the meat wagon all the time, and that's
World famous.
yeah,
World famous. Yeah, hashtag world famous meat wagon.
So,
Tom Jones.
so-
Tom Jones.
yeah, so Tom
Shout out.
does a lot of kite fishing and stuff, and I think it's just one of those things that it puts on a show, you
Yep.
know, like it's not, I love fishing for wahoo too, but I feel like you don't see it with kite fishing. You see everything, even when kings are skyrocketing and everything. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of like my favorite thing. It's just being able to see the bite and see everything that's going on.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
sail
Yeah.
jumping is like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's so
yes.
romantic.
You guys ever?
It's really romantic.
It really is, especially during a sunset.
Oh my God.
Dinner and dancing.
I love
Dinner and dancing. It's perfect.
Dinner and a show, right? That's what they
Yeah.
say,
Oh
right?
my
Goodness.
goodness.
Cheers. Cheers.
That's funny.
These
So you
girls
guys
are
ever?
lagging.
You guys ever do a lot and like a lot of inshore fishing, like tarpon, snook, you know, like that kind of stuff? Or you guys mostly like the offshore stuff?
I want to learn a little bit more of the inshore stuff. I haven't had a chance to do it, but I'd like to. I'd like to be wrapped up in a big tarpon. And back to kite fishing. So back to kite fishing. My expertise in kite fishing, I just get it and throw it in the water because I'm gonna just put it in the water anyways. So I don't even deploy it. I just figure.
Yeah.
We got to get you on a boat with Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, meat wagon.
He draws out. So this is the first time second time I've ever kite fished. The first time was not so great. And I was like, we did a hat tournament. I'm like, okay, I'm with Tom Jones, Tony Azim,
Oh.
Carl Trey. I was on his boat too. And I was like, I've only done this once and I didn't really know what I was doing. Tom draws a diagram of where everyone's going to be and where all the rods are going to be and which one's the kite rod, which one's the flat rod. I was like, okay. And then Trey was like, oh, this is how you do this and this is how you grab the bait and everything. I'm like, wow, this
Bridling?
is so good. Yes, bridling is the word. I've been 3 times, still learning, but it was so cool. But like Tom Jones is the person to go with if you're gonna learn how to do it.
I'll
Nice.
tell you what. I tried to bridle a bait once, and I got so anxious, I squeezed it so hard.
Oh,
Carolyn, they're like, "Let it go." I'm like, "No."
Relax.
Right, because it was flipping this way, it was flipping that way. I grabbed it, I was squeezing it. His eyes were doing this. I'm like, "Oh my!" They're like, "Breathe." I'm like, "Oh."
Oh,
Oh my God.
Oh my
Now
God.
you want me to put a needle through
okay.
its head
All
and
right,
a
we
rubber
gotta get you on
band?
Tom's boat for the
Yeah,
next
right.
one.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
can do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Trey is a very good teacher also, because like those guys all together are like very patient too. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
Tom is like super patient.
yes,
Trey is gonna like make sure that you're like understand what's going on.
yes,
He doesn't want to just like hand you the rod. No, he wants you to understand everything, the process. So
yeah.
yeah,
He's
but-
just so great.
Carlene, I'm curious. What's the fish that got you going, like early on?
Oh, I used to lake fish in the back for bass.
Yeah, bass.
Oh.
Just
Nice.
fishing. That's growing up when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
kind of do it right there, and then it's working on boats kind of got me offshore, and then I like to go for big ones. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't have
nice,
much to say.
nice. Oh, so it sounds. We always talk about like Carlene's fish like all the world, and big tuna and marlin and all that. I was just wondering, like, this is bass that kind of got you.
What
Yeah,
got you like
started off.
addicted? Bass?
Looking at good. I mean, it wasn't really like it was just a fly fishing. I mean, I love fly fishing out in Wyoming.
Okay.
You can be there by yourself with just 10 and 2 and simple, quiet. Just just in your own headspace. I mean, it's just it's different each environment. It was just like I had a love for it from when I was just a little girl. So I didn't have my grandpa there, which I think is amazing. You have that story. I had brothers, but they were never really into fishing either. I think I did it to get away from my, to not get
Yeah.
beat up by
Escape,
my brothers,
right.
maybe.
Yeah.
Because I was a younger sister. Maybe I just went out,
Yeah.
good old Lakes of Wellaby out there. But it was just simple. Me and my friend Scott Barron, we would just meet in the middle and drop a line, and that was it.
Nice.
So awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Ryan Allison has the next question here, and
course.
it's for Nicole.
Oh jeez.
Yes, I love that.
Dun, dun,
Can we
dun,
get more?
dun.
Can we get more questions for her? She's
Yeah,
trying to hide
16
over there.
more questions. It's okay.
She's like glad that she's at the bar, so she doesn't have to answer the questions.
So, he asks, when aboard the fish angler, do you go by any other name?
Oh.
Apparently, that might mean
What does
something.
that
I don't
mean?
know, but
Is
this
this
is
a
what
reference
does
to
that
Ocean
mean?
this is
Reef
his
when you
big
guys were
cryptic
fishing?
question.
Okay.
Oh.
His secret question.
The secret
He said he
question.
had a
Uh,
secret question.
So I feel really bad, and now I don't even remember his name. But the gentleman that was on the boat when we were fishing at Ocean Reef, he kept calling me Victoria. And
Really?
I said, my name's Nicole, Nicole from Big Dog. And he's like, okay, Victoria. And I was like, dang it. So
he just said it to spite you?
no,
Like it was
I
like a
don't
thing?
think the hearing was there.
Oh.
I think that it was just like confusion, But I'm like literally trying to set the planer, and he's like, Victoria. And I'm like, not Victoria. Like
You were that day.
I was
Yeah.
totally Victoria that day.
Victoria.
And then finally the next day, I think somebody told him again, that my name was not Victoria. And then he came to apologize to me. And I felt so bad because he was doing it just not knowingly, but it was kind of the crack of the whole trip. Everybody was calling me Victoria
Yeah.
the whole trip.
I think it's funny that you can't remember his name, though. So
No,
I
I
guess you guys are even.
Gotcha.
It's all
right.
good.
Yeah.
It's all
Joke's
good.
on you.
All right, so these last two questions are for everybody. All right. And it is Troy Ganter from Papa's Raw Bar
Yeah.
who
Oh.
provided us with food
Yes.
Lighthouse
before the
Point Yacht
event.
Club.
Yes.
Represent.
That's right. Totally.
Yeah.
So, two questions from him. And he says he wants to hear everybody's best fishing story, but he also wants to know. Well, I'll ask the second question after you guys answer. He wants to know something about Papa's, but I want to hear everyone's
Cool.
best fishing story. Give me your best fishing story.
Can it be-
Best one.
Can it be spearfishing though?
It absolutely can.
Okay. So, all right, I'll go first. So spearfishing, I've done a lot of irresponsible, dangerous stuff in my 20s. So, as
Really?
we all have, yes.
That's a separate podcast, though. Right?
We can talk about spear. We
That's
could do
after
a
12.
whole. We could do a whole hour.
Listen,
on
Jackie, next week,
Whoa,
let's
it's
pencil in
getting hot
next
here.
Monday.
Yeah.
Just you and
we
me
could do
at
a
the
whole
table.
hour
We
of
could do it.
spearfishing
Hold on.
stories.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Should we get refees on this too? Yeah, I won't mention everything. I don't want to get in too much trouble. But so
This is a
spearfishing.
safe space. You're good.
It's a safe space.
Right.
Thanks. So spearfishing, I used to do a lot of solo dives, which they tell you not to do on
Mhm.
scuba. So I spearfish on scuba. I will take one for sure. Same thing. Thanks.
Yes.
Gosh,
Yes.
calm
yes.
Oh,
down.
look at you. Look,
Wait, hold on.
Listen.
Wait. Here you go. You got the girl fisherman.
Carleen is the best bartender in the world because she's going to do everything in her power to get you to drink.
My goodness.
By the way, Lindsay wasn't going to.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
She wasn't going to. I was the only one drinking.
No, you weren't.
I was the only degenerate until Dennis started and then you got here.
Of course.
Anyway, okay. So
I was already drinking at my desk at 4:30. Carleen
Yeah.
walks in and she just hands me one.
it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. All right, so tell me all about all the bad things you did in your 20s.
Not gonna go there. However, I'll talk about this one story. So I used to do a lot of solo scuba diving,
Okay.
and I don't scuba dive without spearfishing. So I went down on this one wreck. It was just me and this guy I was with at the time dropped me down. And what I do is, if you're on a wreck, you just tie off your flag.
That guy never made it back.
He was on the boat.
Good, just kidding.
He was
didn't-
there at the time.
He didn't make the cut.
Sorry,
in
bad
general.
joke. Bad joke. Bad joke.
He didn't make the cut.
And we're
That's
talking cut.
That's another podcast.
Crank
also.
car, crank
I do
car.
like multiple
That's
podcasts
midnight.
I'd
in my
like to
life.
participate in that one.
I want to be on that one. That's midnight.
All the guys that didn't make the cut. Anyway, so he dropped me down. I'm spearfishing, so I tie off my flag at the wreck. I go down. There's already like 4 bull sharks. We're in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach, Boca. They don't, in my opinion, they don't give you a problem, really. It's when you get to Boynton or Jupiter where they feed them. That's where
Right.
they will take your fish or whatever. However, when you're by yourself, they try to challenge you. So anyway, I dive down. I see this huge hogfish. I'm down for 5 minutes. I shoot this thing. It goes into the wreck. And then 5 bull sharks. So obviously didn't have a problem with those 5. Turns into 10, which turns into lemons and stuff. Because it's freaking out. It's on the spear.
Mm-hmm.
Wedged into the wreck. And I have to go through a tube of whatever part of the wreck that fell that was literally like a tube, kind of like an igloo, if you will. So I had to go with all my stuff, and you have to keep, you're scuba diving, so you have to keep in mind you have stuff behind you so you don't get stuck. And you have a limited amount of time at a certain depth. We were like 70 feet. So it wedges itself into the wreck. It's still alive, which also sucked too, because as it's freaking out, they start to freak out a little bit. And I remember I'm trying to figure out, you could just kind of, when you're alone, you just have to, I'm also a dive master. So like you have to figure out what the situation is. And you're like, okay, don't freak out. How are you going to make this happen? At least retrieve my gun. The fish is kind of whatever at this point. So I'm like, okay, best case scenario, I try to go in the front area where it is. And this tube is probably like 12 feet long. So the fish is in the front. The bull sharks are probably 5 feet away from that. Just circling the entire wreck. We're just going back and forth in front of where they know where it is. And I try to go. I also used to have a pole spear that I would dive with alone because I was my shark poker. So I had my spear gun and my shark poker. So I go down, shoot this fish. It's freaking out inside the wreck in this tube. And I try to go up to this really big bull shark and see if it's going to be afraid of me. It is not. I get about a foot away from it. It's like still going back and forth from where it knows where the fish is. So I'm like, okay. So I have to go. The fish is in the front of the tube. I go in the back of the tube and I kind of crawl through. Mind you, you have to keep in mind there's eels. There's different types of fish that will sting you. Like anything could come out at any time to try to bite you and stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'm in my 20s. I'll live forever, right? So I go in the back of the tube and I pull this fish out, starts freaking out, stab it in the head. It's just going to be a little bit gory. Stab it in the head, going to kind of kill it so it doesn't freak out anymore. Because when it's...
You want to kill the nerve.
It's the blood and it, the impulses that it makes.
Right. Say, isn't the electrical sensor?
You want to kill the nerve.
You want to kill it. Yeah.
And
then
when the sharks come.
It's like bittersweet, right? So you kill it so it doesn't freak out anymore, but also it releases blood. So it's like you have, So I go in the back of this tube and I'm like pulling out the gun. I kill the fish. I have to go back out the way that I came in because the wreck is here, the tube is this way, and the sharks are here. So it's kind of tiny. I go in, stab it. When I come back out of the tube, the fish is dead. I put it on my stringer that's attached to me because we're in Fort Lauderdale because they're not going to steal my stuff, right? These sharks are waiting for me at my flag. I don't know how. Maybe they knew this. I feel like they knew it because it's like a well-known wreck. I forget exactly which one it was. But 2 or 3 sharks were just waiting at where I tied my flag. I'm like, okay, so...
Well, they are known for their learned behavior.
Yes,
so,
they are.
Yeah.
They're smarter than they look, right? So I'm like, okay, I had a safety sausage. So I hook it up to the safety sausage.
Excuse me?
A safety sausage.
What is a safety sausage?
It is a safety sausage. So it is an inflatable tube.
I'm going to need one of those.
Let's hear more about that. Let's hear more about the safety sausage.
Excuse me. Don't
that
think
might
too
mean
much about
different things to different people. So
a safety sausage.
Anyway, so
sorry.
I'm sorry. It's fine.
Non-divers.
I'm not a diver.
It's okay. It's okay.
The name
so
of the episode is going to be a safety sausage.
That's it.
Safety sausage.
Relax, ladies. Okay, keep it in your pants.
Wow.
A safety sausage is this tube that you can roll up and then you inflate it. So not only can you let people know that you're doing your safety stop or whatever. So you can inflate it. It'll go to the surface and
gets
stick.
Bigger.
It gets as
buoyancy, right?
As all sausages do. They get bigger.
If you're lucky.
Depends on how much you inflate them. So.
It's gonna be the end of me.
And you wanted ladies on your podcast.
This is the first story too. Wow. Can we get a shot of him blushing? No,
I'm good.
I just heard shot. Get a shot of him.
There we go.
Dennis, we haven't asked you any
now
questions.
we are inevitably we've reached the point of the podcast where
I'm not even done my story.
where the rum is completely kicked
So the safety sausage, you inflate it, and not only can you send your fish up on it, like to the surface without you attached to it, you send up like it. I have multiple.
Lindsay wants one.
That's when you take a mic away. Hold on. I want one of those.
I got a guy.
Yeah. I'm a diver. I have some.
Right. I got the hookup at 4 seat. Got you. Anyway, so you can send up a fish, or you can let people know on the boat that you're coming up if you're not with the flag or whatever. So hook up my stringer to the safety sausage and send it up. So that means like the fish and the blood and everything goes to the surface. Ideally, the sharks go away, right? So they didn't. I go to my flag, which is at the top of the wreck, and then I see a shark. One of the bulls has like a cobia on it, and I'd reloaded my gun at that point because you never know.
So you're still thinking fish.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've commercial dove and stuff like that, done crazy stuff. I dove with this guy, Paul Varian. I don't know if he watches it or not. He should. If sharks get too close to you, if you know the length of your shot of your gun, I don't know if he'll feel good or not about me telling him this or saying this, but shoot at them. Because as soon as they get a poke on the side, they'll leave. Usually, if it's not Point near Jupiter or sometimes Miami, wherever they feed them. So, which I've done that before. So you reload your gun, going up to my flag, and there's a bull shark. Obviously, there's 3 sharks that are circling my flag at this point. I'm like, oh man, there's a cobia. By myself, probably shouldn't do it. I'm kind of out of time. Obviously, you look at your gauge for your...
Are you all the way up to the top at this point? Or are you still
not
in
at the top.
atmosphere?
No, I'm still at the wreck.
Below?
At the top of the wreck. So it
top
took
of
me
the
like
wreck,
20
okay.
minutes to
So
get
are you
the
like 1 or
hogfish.
2 atmospheres down, you think?
70 feet would be
It's like 2
a little over
and a
2.
half, yeah.
So I'm at the top of the wreck. I'm like, oh, I could shoot this cobia. But the thing about cobia, when you shoot them, they freak out.
Right.
They freak out. So it's like, okay, let's be a little bit smart. We already dove down here alone, sent up this hogfish, dealt with this whole thing. So I just, like, all right. Then I slowly go up. They follow me up as I'm doing my safety stop at, we go to 25 feet, do the safety stop. They're still hanging out because they're waiting. Obviously they smell the blood. So I didn't have a fish on me, but I did make it back. But that's my craziest story. Like, they knew it. 5 turned into 10, and then they knew where my flag was, so they kind of hung out there. So it was a little bit scary.
They're just checking out the hot blonde in a bathing suit.
Yeah, exactly.
She looks like a snack. Let's do it. Yeah. So don't recommend diving alone. Don't recommend spearing alone. Don't recommend scuba diving alone. Don't do what I do.
So crazy stuff, right? So I ask people that I know for things like, hey, I want to go to Costa Rica and fish the Triple Crown Ladies Tournament in January of 2020, and like Maverick sport fishing, amazing. They go, yeah, okay. And then I go, uh-oh. So I put together a team of girls that have never fished the IGFA tournament. I decided if I got them all pink bags with their names on them and we walked down a dock, we'd look like we're cool, which we do. We fly to Costa Rica. And the girls that I fished with at the time, and I got myself in the same problem. We're supposed to go to Cabo and fish the ladies tournament in July. I'm like, uh-oh, now what do we do? Long story short, girlfriend that's never caught a sailfish. First, we're fishing against Tank and all these other big sport fishes that are down in Costa Rica. We hook up to fish number 1 and 2 sailfish. My girlfriend's smoking a cigarette, has a lighter in her hand, never picked up a rod out of a rod holder before with that IGFA observer on the boat, and drinking a beer. At 8:02, when lines are at 8 o'clock. 8:04, we have the second hookup of the day. Our mate, who's amazing from Seafly, took her cigarette and flipped it out of her mouth because it's in her mouth because the butt was this long on it. Took her hand off, threw the lighter like in the cockpit as she's fighting her very first sailfish, which is amazing. And we hooked up to the second fish. We led 4th. We were up to 4th place almost to the end of the day. People were like, who are these girls that rolled in from Fort Lauderdale with like matching outfits and like stupid bags with their names on them? It's like, yeah, it's us.
Bachelorette party from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. So we literally rolled in, and it was amazing to be at a huge tournament and
with
catch
the safety sausage.
You're right, with the safety sausage.
Yeah, right. Hey, by the way, I have pink safety sausages, so you could add that to your little.
Yeah, you know what? We need some pink safety sausages. If anyone wants to buy stuff, we can like do it. But it was pretty badass because I'm sorry, swore again. When we roll down the docks with these women that train with their husbands and they fish these major boats, and we just rolled in like we were rock stars. It was pretty cool. And to have my girlfriend catch the very first fish of a big ladies tournament, smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer at 8:04 was kind of cool.
It's hardcore.
Yeah. Thanks, Dorina.
Nice. All right. What's your best fishing story, Lindsay?
I'll keep it short. One of my favorite fishing stories is right out front here in about 150, 200 feet of water. Went out with a good friend at the time, and it's like, we're just going to drop for whatever, maybe, some big grouper, whatever. I'm like, okay. First drop, I'm on the rod, do it all. Pull up like a huge snowy grouper. Like, I have never seen one this big on this coast. Like huge. You can't see my hands on the radio, but like I was so impressed. It was awesome. It was another evening bite actually too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
nice.
hell yeah, this is amazing. Like, you're telling me we can do this like every day?
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
cool. It was a
I
sick
love the
fish.
late bites.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nicole,
You got
to
one?
you. Back to
Go
you,
at the bar. Go,
our
Nicole.
host.
Go, Nicole.
So for me, actually, going back to sailfish, I feel like it's my first sailfish. Like, I'll just never forget that day. Never forget, like, I'm the
That
type of
first
person-
sailfish is a special moment.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
For sure.
I just feel like for me, I like to do everything. So I want to set up my line. So Trey showed me pretty much almost everything that I know. And, me doing all that, letting out my bait and doing everything, knowing no one handed me a rod and said, here, reel in and take a picture. Like, I physically did the work. And seeing his face, like how excited he was that I got my first sailfish, to me, it was like a moment of us being together that it's just one of those things that I would never forget.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
A
also
true love
too,
story.
well, I mean, listen,
I love
mean,
that.
I think that's
That's so
another great
cute.
part about it too, because most of the best fishing stories are not even just about the fish; it's about the person you're with at the time.
Yeah,
We always say that means just as much, for
Yeah.
sure.
Like when I go spearfishing with friends, like I love when I can put them on fish that they spear, even for the first time or whatever. Even getting
Yeah.
lobster and stuff, like teaching someone how to lobster. I'm like, this is like my little baby. Thank
Yeah,
you.
nice.
I'm so glad you got this. It's so fun. And then they're like,
Funny.
ah,
Yep.
yeah.
Funny lobster story with Mike Leach. It'll take 2 seconds. He says, Carolyn, we're going to go lobster fishing. I'm like, great. He's going to jump in the water. We're going to go 3 oil pipes, and we're going to swim over. We're going to find a gray angelfish. We're going to hit it on the head. Then we're going to swim back. We're going to go under its rock, and then we're going to flip upside down, and we're going to grab lobster. I'm like,
Where
I'm like,
is this? What is happening? There's so many things.
I know. That's what I said. I said, wait a minute. I got into the water. I'm like, we got to go down, find 3 oil pipelines off of Fort Lauderdale. Then we're going to swim down. We're going to find a gray angelfish. We're going to hit it on the head. We're going to follow it back to its home. I had
Are
pink
you
flippers
scuba
on.
diving at this point?
Yes.
Pink
Like,
flippers?
I
what?
had pink flippers on.
Did he have a diagram that he brought down with you? Like, this sounds like
He is like the Gordon's fisherman. So I'm chasing him. He might as well have, he might as well have dove with a yellow suit.
Oh, goodness.
like what?
The only thing I ended up with was a freaking blister on my foot.
Yeah.
And then I said, after this point, you know what? You got 2 things. I'll drive the boat and look for your bubbles, or I will put your freaking lobster tails in a Dixie cup and freeze them and make tacos.
Aw.
So
He was messing.
I'm
with
sorry. I'm picturing Mike Leach as the Gordon's fisherman.
he is the Gordon fisherman guy.
Pretty
So
Okay.
perfect.
We can go lobstering if you want a
Yeah.
lobster.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, he had me hit hello when I had hit a fish on the head, which I was like, what?
Oh,
So,
my gosh.
all right, sorry.
Carlene, what's your best fishing story? Do you have one? Something you got to think about? Yeah, it's a lot of them.
No, there's I'd say Nova Scotia was probably a good time for me.
Yeah.
It's most memorable. I had some good guys in the boat, and it was first time fishing bluefin.
Yep.
And the giants up there, and it was just like back to back for me. So it was like 40's like your first one north of 800. It's coming in, take it, and then you're like 45 minutes to get it in, and then 20 minutes later you're on another one, and it's like, all right, that one's like 1300. They were saying and then-
Volkswagens.
you know,
Wow,
and
that's
it's
so
just
cool.
it was a pretty epic experience. And like the thing you said, it's not just about the fish, it's about the guys you're with, who you're
100%.
with, like from waking up at someone coming through the front door at 4 a.m. to getting to the boat, and just the whole experience overall is just a very magical place. And then you wait a day or two and you start fishing again, and then you're feeling it. And then they're trying to put you, in front of a video camera watching you, and they're put you on another grander, and it's like they're videoing you, and I can't even. I'm like, I'm fucking hurting, man. I'm like, why are you guys videoing me now and not 2 days ago when I was kicking ass? I'm like, you motherfucker, But it was pretty epic. There's so many, but that's just one that'll always hold a
That's awesome.
hold a moment.
That 415 door knock is a son of a bitch.
But the thing is, though, is they don't even like knock on your door up there because you're sleeping, and it's like you hear cars come. You come up my driveway
at 4 a.m., you're gonna be met at the front door. You know what I'm saying? But these guys come in, they put coffee on, they start cooking breakfast. It's like the like you have the Indians, the locals coming, and it's just like you wake up and it's like, all right, these are the guys you're going with, and it's just an experience in general. The people are just really, really awesome up there for sure.
We're going this year.
That's cool.
You
Back
put
to
it on
you.
the calendar, man.
We're going this year.
Back to you. What about yours?
I'm going with Andy. Yeah. I'm going to go with Andy. Andy goes up there every year into
Do
Andy
it.
Moyes.
Dennis,
So,
what about yours?
my best fishing story?
Yeah.
You've been in this for a
There's a
long.
lot of them.
Yeah, we need to get you back on some boats with these hat tournaments
Yeah.
and stuff.
Is there a
sir.
question?
No,
for you?
no, no.
Yeah,
no,
right.
no, no.
No, no. Super secret questions.
I do want to add
Oh,
one thing.
Papa's. We have to do second Papa's
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Wait,
I got it.
Oh,
So there is
that's right.
actually one thing I want to add, right? So you talk about the fishing, like being with the meaningfulness of like who you're with. Good buddy of mine, like we grew up every year going to this timeshare down in Marathon. It was called Key Lime. It was a great spot, right? And every year we go for 2 weeks, and then we'd see the same families growing up every year, and it was cool. We would only see each other once a year, but we would see how each family has grown year after year after year. And then eventually, me and my buddy Joey, we'd start. He was from Miami. We'd start when we were old enough to drive. We'd start meeting up. And then we'd start fishing out together here. It's like he is like my buddy that I grew up fishing with, right? And I remember he was down in the Keys one time, and he took his family down there, and I couldn't make the trip. And he hooked up to his first ever blue marlin on a solo trip, right? And he's sitting there fighting this blue marlin, and he FaceTimes me. Right? He said, bro, you guys, you there? Can you see it? Can you see this? And there, sure enough, this freaking blue is just slashing. So this huge blue marlin, right? And I was like, get off the phone with me, dude. Catch that fish. He's like, no, bro, you had to see this. You had to see this. I needed to do that with you and everything like that. And I was like, that was pretty cool that he did that. I was still kind of mad at him because he lost the fish because he called me. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's why he lost the fish. He wasn't bringing that fish.
But was he all by himself?
That marlin was like, he was all by himself.
Yeah.
That marlin was pretty big. I doubt he was bringing it in on the tackle that he was using. I don't think he was expecting to hook into that with what he was using. So
There's
he
a
probably
lot
wasn't bringing that in. He fought it for like a good half an hour. And but he called me because he didn't want you. It doesn't mean as much if you're on your own.
There's
I don't
a
think,
lot of
you know?
overboard stories you hear.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Boats like driving to
Sure.
the Bahamas, and the people are floating in the water for 10 hours.
Yeah.
My mom was widowed at 26 with a 1.5-year-old and a 6-month-old.
Wait, what?
She had a fishing accident. Not my father, her first husband.
Really?
She met my dad after that. He'd go out every day at lunch.
What?
Even in
Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
He was doing something with the motor, and I guess when he fell over, and these were back in the day when the little John boats and stuff, the boat would go around and around, just come back full circle. It hit him. They found him 2 weeks later in the Niagara River.
oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was-
Wow.
So that's when my husband's he's a fisherman. So it was just like I didn't want to ever get married, and he's like, well, why not? I'm like, well, we got a baby, like I was thinking the whole thing's gonna relive. You're leaving to go on, fish. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Exactly what my mom did. I was so nervous on getting married. Finally, I'm like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Just let's get married. So
Fishing
thankfully-
business for guys who go out there for
Thankfully.
commercial, up there in New England and
Yeah.
Nova Scotia, where you are, Gloucester.
Don't fuck around,
yeah.
man.
Right.
Sweet. This one going out there by yourself. I
I
it's
go
just
spank her
like-
on the way out.
I said I did not recommend it. Okay.
It's just like,
You put your asterisk on that one, right?
Do as I say, not as I do. Okay.
we're gonna need a jack like how on Jackass. Do not do, say, or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had Manny Puig. We had
I
Manny
don't do
Puig.
it anymore.
We
I
had
don't do it
Manny Puig on
anymore.
the show, so that
Had
was
the
our big
warning.
disclaimer.
I
So if
don't do
anyone
it
wants to know what
anymore.
our disclaimer is, watch the Manny Puig episode, and he says
Yeah,
that.
he's a different
Yeah.
whole other person.
But Troy wants to know what would you like to see him do more at Papa's? That's really
Oh, he's amazing.
the second part. I'd say he's doing a great job. I don't even know if you need to change anything about that place. Right?
He always donates gift baskets to all of us girls, and
Yeah.
any tournaments we do. He's got that beautiful barrel room in the back, which is amazing. The food is dynamite. The music is great. The pelagic nights they do.
Oh, no. I have a request.
Oh, request.
Oh wait.
All right, good. What's your
wait.
request?
More wine tastings.
Oh,
he's done
good.
some great
the
wine
Dariush
tastings.
nights and all the
Yeah,
things.
the first
yeah.
Dariush night was
Yeah.
like one for the books. Like it was phenomenal. And it was a Monday night, and it was
Yeah.
really, really great.
Tastings will take them.
Yeah, we are going to actually begin doing a Connected by Water event there with them pretty soon too.
Nice.
So yeah, it'd be kind of.
I like the events that they do there.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
did one, you guys, Big Dog, recently, right?
Pelagic
Well,
Friday.
they're the Pelagic Fridays. Yeah.
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 That was
nice.
cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Love that place.
I got a question here from Bouncer Smith,
Oh.
and this is our last question actually.
Okay.
You
Are we
can
good on time?
We kind of reviewed some of this. Well, it's
you know.
podcast
Time?
Well, I
We
mean,
have no commercial breaks here.
okay.
So we kind of answered a lot of these, like what are your favorite species to catch, and he says how often are you targeting different species, but I kind of want to change that question up a little bit and say what species would you like to target that you haven't targeted yet? Like we talked a little bit about inshore stuff like that, but what species have you not fished for yet that you've always wanted to?
Well, I was going to ask everyone what their bucket list fish was.
There you go.
Big
Answer that.
fat tarpon. You know why? Because I
Oh.
want
The
that
secret
scale.
sausage.
Oh,
No.
I want that scale that you could take off a tarpon and then you dry it. It looks like a seashell. And
Yeah.
I want to catch a big one.
It's
I'm like,
locked. You can't come in.
I
You keep
wanna
on knocking,
catch-
but you can't come in.
I want to catch
You
a
keep
big
on
fish on a
knocking,
light
but you
spinner.
can't come in. Sorry.
No, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Wait, I was gonna start dancing.
No, that's my brother
Yeah.
at the door.
It's your
Go
brother.
away, brother.
Sorry, bro.
Sorry,
He's
bro.
trying to cockblock the podcast.
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, right?
He saw a
I'm gonna
bunch
go.
of
Sorry,
chicks.
did I
Wait,
say
he
that
saw
like
a
that? That
bunch
was
of
actually
chicks and
bad of me
Renee
to
was
say it
with
like
him. He's
that.
like, all right, I'm out.
Sorry, that was rude of me to say that like that.
This is. I'm pretty sure
It's
this
exactly
is
what's happening, though.
the most ladies in your podcast. I'm gonna go tarpon. I've never caught one. I'd like to.
Okay. That's great.
I like tarpon.
My bucket list is, well, it's not fishing, but spearfishing a halibut. Like a huge,
Ooh.
huge halibut. They
Interesting.
give a good fight, I've heard. And
Nice.
That water's cold.
It is cold.
Cole, I was gonna say,
I don't like
that
I'm
being
picturing, I
cold.
just
No,
pictured
thank
you.
you.
Do it.
I just pictured you in this full suit with like your
A
face
sweater.
about to pop.
Yes, absolutely. I will do it. It's on my
Yeah?
bucket list.
All right.
I will once.
That's
Once and
actually
only once.
ice fishing in like Minnesota. Like for some weird reason, is on my bucket list.
Ice fishing.
Yeah, just like
Where you
this-
drill the hole.
Yeah,
the
right.
thing, and
yeah, the whole thing.
could
Like
do the
I don't know.
hut.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah,
do
the
it.
hut.
They do the hut with the.
Yeah, I've always
drinks
wanted to
and
do
stuff.
that.
We'll see Jackie under the water with like a ski outfit on with
Yeah.
some fur
Like a
boots.
I don't know how many millimeters the suits go up to, but I will have the most with like a heated thing, and then
All right.
you'll see me with a world record halibut.
Okay, that's
All
great.
right.
That's great.
Yeah. Gonna
What
do
about
it.
you guys?
Gonna do it.
I went tarpon.
Tarpon.
Lindsay.
Tarpon, you got?
Lindsay?
More marlin fishing. Got my first
There you
taste.
go.
I did the Mag Bay trip last year.
Okay.
That was just insane and sick and more striped marlin that you knew what to do with. So
Mhm.
How big?
Um,
What's your goal?
for marlin,
yeah.
ooh, I don't even know. Bigger the better.
Yeah.
But
There we go.
Just throw out a
Oh,
number.
there you go.
Throw out a
There's
number.
that
How
thing.
big
There's
is
that
it?
pig thing.
Thousand
Pig sausage.
Sure.
You know what
Talk
I'm
about
saying?
it again.
Pig
All
sausage. Pig sausage. All right.
Guys, I like my pink sausage.
What you got
okay?
for us, Nicole?
So for me, my bucket list is actually every marlin, striped marlin.
yeah, there you go.
I just want to like get all of them, and then after that, a bluefin tuna, and then after that, I really want to fly fish. I've never done
There
that
you go.
before, so that's like just different terminal tackle, different technique. Like I would just like to try something different. But I got to
Nice.
get my other fish first before I do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's totally different.
She answers like such a beauty queen too. It's like, saving the world peace. Well, screw world peace. I want to catch every type of marlin, and that's what they should have on like,
Yeah.
like.
I'd really like to take that hook and rip it through the lips of a rainbow trout really hard.
And then shoot it in the head.
Yeah. Cut it
Drive
up
it in
and
with my
cook
second
it. It
bowl
would be
of
so
beer.
Oh
yummy.
my god.
It's
Yeah.
so pretty. It started out so pretty this morning.
Yeah. My motto is if it has eyes, it dies.
Oh.
There we go. Yes.
Slam it.
Watch out.
Exactly.
Love
If it
that.
has eyes, it dies.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys one last final question. It was from me, and this is what I always ask everybody on the show, and this is kind of how we wrap up the episode, okay? And what's your one that got away? What's the one fish that you had on the line?
You changed it. What's the
What
one
the
that
fish?
got away?
We're not
What's the
talking
fish?
about men or women here. We're talking about fish.
Yeah, right.
What's that
Did
one?
I
that...
mention all the Starbright products?
Yeah, they do. They go nicely with Pilar. Here you go. Salt off is great, by the way, and that citrus cleaner. I love that. There you go.
Goodness.
Cheers.
All right,
Cheers.
cheers
The
again.
one,
Nicole,
one-
your water? Cheers.
We're talking about the one fish or the one that got
One
away?
fish. What's
One
the one
fish.
fish that listen, I know mine very well, and I ask these guys this question, and most guys don't hesitate. They go, I know what it is. What's the one that got away that you wish you'd never jumped off the hook on
So
you?
when you order with girlfriends around a table and the waiter comes to you and you go like, go to that girl? Go to that girl.
Okay. What's your one that got away? You got one that got away?
This is a very sad story.
Oh,
I
no.
love it.
I feel
Let's
really
have it.
bad. So we went sword fishing, and the hookup, everything was right. Like everything was perfect. We see the fish, it comes to the top, and somebody accidentally put the boat in gear, and it ended up ripping the jaw from the swordfish out. And we were like, what the heck happened? And then we see the swordfish, and we're trying to like go back and get it because now it has no jaw, but that is the one, like, I felt so bad. Like, I felt like, I don't know, like, we didn't get it because it sunk, and it was just a screw up from the person that was driving the boat.
But you could see it.
You could see it.
That's the most.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So it's
It's
like you did this whole big
right
fight, like you fought this fish, and you could see it and he's there. And then all of a sudden they're slacking the line and we're like, what the heck just happened? And then we're like, oh my God. And its whole bottom jaw is just like on the line still. And it was just from like, just an excitement of seeing the fish come up, and that person just like hit it by accident,
And she doesn't want to call him out either. She
No.
remembers exactly who it
You
was.
don't have to call him out. You don't have to call him out.
No,
That's
no,
fine.
no.
It's
do
okay.
it. I
You
won't
know
do
who
it.
you are. You know who you are.
I think it's like fisherman women code, It was
Yep.
an accident.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
It was
It's all
an
good.
accident. Yeah.
Hey, things happen.
What happens on
Yeah.
the boat stays on the boat.
Things
Right.
happen.
I mean, if you don't bring it in, yes. Absolutely.
All right, Lindsay, go.
I don't think I've ever
She
had one that
catches
got
all her
away.
fish.
Yeah,
She catches all her fish. She catches
I don't. I
everything.
can't remember one time.
Hashtag never skunked.
She is.
Never
She's 876 for 876.
Okay, go, Jackie. I got to think hard.
I would have to say I've never brought in a sailfish. So I've been on a boat where they've caught them, but I've also had one like I put like a cedar bullock like all the way back, like let's see if we catch this. And then we see a sail, like, oh my god. It was like before I even knew. Obviously you have to let them like swallow it a little bit. You gotta, they're kind of like women. You gotta like let them hang out. Yes, let them swallow.
Really good dancers.
Sausages.
Really good dancers.
Yeah, right.
Hold
right.
on.
They're really
Hold
good
on.
dancers.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh
This is
my
Lindsay.
goodness. Okay, we need to seriously call my ride right about now.
Yeah.
So like seeing it jump at everything, and it was like taking the line, and then I just got so excited I just started reeling, right? And at that point, like I didn't have any. That's like right after I started fishing, so I was like, oh yeah, let's really bring it in, because like wahoo, obviously they swallow it and you just bring it in, and it just after 10 minutes, it's gone. It's like, oh, that would have been so cool. And now I like see people get sailfish and they jump in the intercoastal, or they're thrown in the intercoastal. I'm like, I want to be thrown in the intercoastal. I haven't gotten a sailfish yet. Like, I want that for me. But yeah, that's my.
herself in the water like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. No, so we actually just had a blackfin tuna tournament with the club, and Brett Normando, who just joined the club too, caught his first sailfish while we were doing the blackfin tournament, and he jumped in the intercoastal. Super cool. Congrats to him on that. Shout out. Hopefully he watches this. And I've always wanted that, especially like during a tournament and stuff. That was my one, like, oh, I got it.
You'll get that.
And then
Trust me, you'll get that.
I
soon
mean,
enough.
well, in this club, I would hope so.
Yeah, you'll get that soon enough.
Yeah.
All right. So that made me think about my biggest loss in my life.
Of your life. We still talking about fish or?
No, I don't know. What fish? Okay, so I was over in Bimini and we were fishing for dolphin, and we had so many dolphin around the boat. It was crazy. Nobody wanted to eat the hot dog on my hook. So
Wait, is that a reference to something? Or
wait, no, it's not.
we're talking about
So-
sausages?
is going downhill fast.
Is it downhill though?
Wait.
Is it downhill?
Nobody was hungry, so all my friends
Is this
started.
downhill?
I feel like this is
We're going downhill
I
as a
feel like we're at the top of the hill.
I feel like we're only going up from
So
here.
what happened
Nowhere else
is,
to go.
what happened
We're
was,
king of the world right now.
What had happened was
I was feeding out my spinner looking for a dolphin and no takers, right? So all my friends started free gaffing dolphin and dumping him in the boat, and it looked like a murder scene, right? And I'm like in the back going, no, someone's going to eat my hook. I'm going to stay here until all the time it takes. They're just weren't hungry. And all my friends were like, free gaff.
It sounds like
free
a
gaff.
dating like scenario. Also.
You know, when that
That's
thing
hilarious.
when those dolphin came in the front of the bow and flopped all the way down to the back of the boat and looked like someone killed 14 people, it was,
with all the blood.
yeah, it was kind of cool. And I'm on the back going, oh, I'm not ready to leave yet. But I caught nothing. That was my biggest loss, was being able to like not catch anything when people were
So
literally
they're free gaffing stuff, and you're trying to like
Yeah,
reel
with a
things
hot dog.
in
with a hot dog
with a hot dog.
and a
Wow.
watermelon spiked with vodka.
Well,
No go.
Well, then-
we all know
yeah,
that
you know.
hot dogs only catch one thing,
Yes, catfish. And
and whatever else you wanted to catch.
yeah,
for
so that was a crazy. I mean, it was like I've never seen people free gaff fish and like put them in a boat and just like let them flop all over the place. It literally was a murder scene.
Wow.
But they were good and they were yummy, and I never caught one, so they got away.
It's such a good time with you guys today.
Right?
I feel like we should do
Did
it
you guys
again.
have fun? We should do it again.
Yeah. Oh,
do
we
it
have to
again.
mention our happy hour that we're having.
When?
I can't remember. It's in my phone. I gotta go grab my phone.
Jen's
Can I do
like,
that?
this is
Okay,
new
can
to
I-
me,
Yeah, follow
but
us on
okay.
Facebook and Instagram.
So I have to brag about these girls because we have Big Dog Tackle over there, right? We have Lindsay, who owns K Title, amazing local lawyer. We have me, and I just like, show up everywhere. Steve Fishman.
You're everywhere.
I'm everywhere. So Atlas Tracks or whatever. We've got Jackie, who's an amazing local yacht broker. And you're checking our schedule?
Well, our schedule.
Our schedule.
She's going to announce a happy hour.
There's a happy hour once a month on a Tuesday.
No, it's
No,
whenever
there's-
we're available.
Oh.
Kinda.
Now we do the official
Wait a second.
Taha Marine
Yes, keep talking. Keep talking.
cast dock
Sounds great.
connected by water.
Yes.
Jackie,
Ah.
my yacht broker.
Look for the pink truck.
Oh, the pink Bronco. Yes.
pink Bronco.
Oh, by the way, I
The
hit
official
you.
pink, the official
Why
pink
do you hate me?
Bronco happy hour.
So Image Graphics, they can wrap your whatever your car is.
Yeah,
in
we could
pink.
rewrap your car to look like I didn't hit it.
What? Did you hit it?
No, don't say that.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
Not yet.
Anyway, happy hour. I feel like I had it on my phone. Okay, talk about something else. Come on.
We're at the end of the show.
We are at the end of the show.
I know.
So
So
what else?
we'll do is
okay.
we talk about our sponsors, right? We'll say we love the fact that
Oh
we.
my God.
Oh,
that-
she got it. She
I
got
got
it.
it.
She got it.
The 7th. The 7th.
July.
So July 7th, after you have had your fill on the 4th, the 3rd and the 4th, come to Taha Marine.
Yeah, it's for our official hangover party.
Oh, like
Yes.
that.
July 4th hangover
Love
party.
it.
We're going to do sunset like 7, you think?
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. We're going to
Yeah.
start at 7,
Mhm.
go till whenever. Probably end up at Briny at the end of the night.
Mhm.
But we have a happy hour. We'll do burgers. We'll do hot dogs. We'll do all the things. LHPSSA members will be there. I'm going to announce it on Wednesday.
Nice.
July 7th, which is a Friday. So it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be literally, we'll close off the parking lot. So we'll have like cornhole. We'll have all of the things. I don't even know.
It's just a hangout.
We're hanging
man.
out.
It's
Yeah.
just a hangout.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a good old fashioned.
We'll have the offices open. We'll have all of the drinks, all of the things. What
Yeah.
This is some sauce. What's up with the
So it's
sauce?
the W sauce is our official magic cooking sauce. So the Connected by Water podcast.
I like
you
that.
Can put
We
it
have
on anything.
Pilar.
Particularly really great with chicken and ribs and all kinds of stuff. This is actually the
Nice.
breakfast sauce. This is the new thing that they came out with.
I like
Right.
that.
And it's really, really, really phenomenal.
Right.
Just ask Nick. He loves it.
And oh, by the way, I have to tell you about this citrus cleaner. Can I tell you something I did?
You can tell me something. you
I
did.
had a barbecue grill that I thought should have been like totally Davy Jones lacquered, and I sprayed some of that on the element and on the cleaner of the scraper thing, and everything came off. That stuff is really good
It
stuff.
really is magic.
That's
Yeah.
magic.
Yep.
I mean,
absolutely.
I recommend Starbright to everyone.
Right.
So-
And salt off, if you're having margaritas, you can't put salt off on the rim. because
Because then it would be called Salt On.
right, because that's gonna mess up your glass with a margarita.
Oh my
So
gosh.
forget that stuff. But
Anyway, like we were saying, July 7th. Come back.
Sorry.
Now.
Come back on July
Now
7th.
we're at the bottom of the hill.
We'll have some Starbright. If you want salt on or salt off your margaritas, it's up to you.
Right.
Dennis,
And
Dennis-
do-gooder.
yes, Dennis
Forget
makes
about
a
the
really
do-gooder.
good rum punch with Papa's Pilar rum.
Oh, it's really good stuff.
Do we do a
Right.
shout out to them? Shout out
Yes,
to Joey
we have
Hardy.
to.
Good.
Thanks, Joey
Do the
Hardy.
shout outs.
Do a
And
little
who else is
screenshot
left?
of
Joey
this.
Cardi, we love that stuff. That's
Absolutely.
The
great
Papa's
place to
Pilar
go.
rum, though, Dennis's rum drink, you like be careful with that.
Yes.
If you come to the
Mhm.
happy hour, when you come to the happy hour, be
Yep.
careful.
My punch.
Everyone can Uber home. If you
I
leave
do,
it-
in my defense, I do put a skull and crossbones on it.
You do.
You did.
You really?
So,
It just looks cool, though. No one listens to that.
I know, but
So
they,
if you have to leave your car there, though, just let me know, and I will let Taha know not to tow it, and
Right.
you can just get an Uber home.
And I have to tell you how cool this is. You had the ladies come in tonight. This is a great happy hour, by the way.
Yeah, right?
you guys
So-
having a good time?
We're having a great time. So
Yeah.
we want
Well,
to
you
come
don't
back.
have to leave. We just got to end the show.
We
so
just
you don't have to
we
leave.
just want to come back and hang
Yeah.
out and like
Yeah.
talk about like all these other concourses.
You guys are welcome here anytime.
We'll do another one. As we
Absolutely.
get more ladies, we should do another.
100%.
More headsets, though. They're
Uh,
going to have a couple more.
Hey,
It sounds like
you
the
guys.
Starbright. The
I'll sit
Starbright
over there
woman.
next time.
The Starbright person of the week.
The
need
do-gooder.
The
By the
do-gooder.
way,
Amy, you said.
Amy is the
Okay.
do-gooder
What?
today. Amy is the
Yes.
do-gooder. Right.
We should get her in LHPSSA.
So let me
Yeah.
tell you
Oh,
what's
she
so
lives in Merritt Island.
And I know we got
That's
to
okay.
wrap up, but
Yeah.
so cool about Starbright. When I go down there, it's like going to Costco. So I go in the back dock and I start like getting on the ladders. I'm taking everything I want. Like I need one of those, one of those, one of
course you
those.
do.
And last time I went, I got 3 do-gooder buckets because we're gonna have people start weighing trash if they just pick them up anywhere, beach,
I love that.
street, wherever.
Okay.
And we can start giving them goodie bags and
There you go.
the baskets you have over there.
I
with-
love that.
You got the mop in there. You got the. I know you have the white erase magic marker eraser thing.
Yeah.
I know you have that in there. By the way,
This is everything that's in the bug. We got the
Yes.
reggae sponge.
Yeah.
right? Oh my God, this stuff is so amazing
Yep.
on my phone and
The
my
screen
TV.
cleaner.
Yeah, put that on a 65-inch TV a lot. And this stuff is so amazing. Boat wash, be safe, and it's all biodegradable. So, and these are really great in the shower.
Yeah?
Yeah?
I'm just saying.
Really?
Like on yourself or on the
Yes.
shower?
Oh my God.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh,
You're
man.
finding out all kinds of
This
things
is
today.
great. This is fantastic.
You have to have another perspective on this stuff, right? Because we use
I
things.
do.
Women use things a different way.
Oh yeah.
This is what women bring to a fishing club.
Yeah. A different.
You don't need a
Perspective.
scrunchie. You need a Starbright thing hanging in your shower. Just saying.
Okay.
Boat pole for the back.
Fair enough.
just like-
Yes. The
Yep.
floating pole
Yeah,
in the
little
shower.
extend-
I can't comment on any of this stuff.
I know.
You can.
I can.
But you won't.
But I won't.
It's okay.
All right, listen. Thank you, ladies.
This is great.
For
Thanks for
joining
having
me.
us. Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank
much.
No, this has been a
Thanks for
blast.
the
I
sushi.
don't want to
Thanks
end
for the
this
good time.
episode, but
We don't have
Nick's
to end
gonna
it.
kill me over there. He's like,
Yeah.
dude, we're done.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
LSU.
All
Right.
All right.
Oh, I
LSU,
forgot.
Florida's
Yeah.
all right.
All right.
All right.
So
Okay.
cool. Thank you guys.
All right, cool. We're gonna end this like we always do. Carlene, thank you so much.
With a shot.
Thank you.
With a shot.
Might-
No.
Might do
We do
another
not
one.
end it with a shot every time.
Okay.
You can if you want to. Feel free. I get all the rum in the
Bottle's
world.
right there in
So,
front of you.
right? All right. We're gonna say what we say every time. Your ego is not your amigo. Right? Always do your best. At the end of the day, just let God do the rest, and do not ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we are all.
Connected
Connected
by water.
by
Connected by
Love
water.
that.
Let's
Thank
go,
you.
ladies.
Nice.
Nicole, where's your water? Hello. Yes. Cheers, girl.
All right. Good night.
Cheers.
Good night.